Well, in that top story, senior counsel advocate Matthew Chaskalson has been appointed as the chief evidence leader of the Madlanga Commission, tasked with probing allegations of criminality, political interference and criminality in the criminal justice system. Now, this takes place amid speculation and uncertainty over senior counsel advocate Terry Motao, who held the position in the high-profile inquiry. When speculation first arose over Motao's future in the probe, the Commission remained mum, emphasizing that the focus was on upholding the rule of law. Their hearings continue with Crime Intelligence Head Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo on the stand at 9:30. Now, Khumalo, a central figure that is expected to assist the Commission in joining the dots, has been painting a picture of the alleged infiltration of crime cartels in the criminal justice system, particularly a Big Five cartel, which allegedly includes Vusimuzi Matlala and Katiso Molefe. Now, this commission, as we hear, are going to continue this morning. At 9:30, the evidence of crime intelligence boss, Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo. And the probe by Khumalo of alleged organised crime syndicates led to the arrest of Katiso Molefe and Vusimuzi Matlala. Let's get the latest from Canny Maphanga and Ayanda Nyathi. Ayanda, I see you up on the screen at the moment, but I suppose besides what we're about to hear at 9:30, also advocate Matthew Chaskalson now coming in. And do we know any of the latest news that's coming out there in terms of what is going on, and have we officially had Motao step away from this?
Well, Leanne, we had Jamie Michaels, the spokesperson of the Commission, with us just under 24 hours ago, and we had asked him to respond officially to the reports that emerged at the weekend about whether or not Terry Motao would exit the door, so to speak. He was very tight-lipped, to be quite frank with you, and just pointed to this being at a sensitive stage of talks. He said this is an internal matter of the inquiry, and that was the head of the communique yesterday, that essentially Terry Motao would not be the chief evidence leader for this inquiry. That will be taken over by Matthew Chaskalson. Canny Maphanga is with us here at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College, and in fact, Canny, you and I have been keeping up with some of the chatter around this, and even though there's been this communication yesterday, there still are so many unanswered questions about what might be happening behind closed doors.
Indeed. Good morning to you and to the viewers. We've known for some time that there seems to be some kind of internal dynamic taking place that would shift the face of the Commission insofar as its evidence leaders. However, the Commission still refuses to confirm or deny this aspect relating to advocate Terry Motao SC, whether he is still involved in the Commission or not. Now, it's clear that in the midst of sensitive talks that Chaskalson has taken the reins. However, questions remain on what the role of Motao will be, as that has not been clarified by the Commission. I think in a commission of this nature, dealing with the allegations that it is dealing with, that as long as it is not addressed, because we are hearing them saying that they don't want to deal with distractions. But when you leave it in the air, what eventually does happen is that it becomes a distraction, because there are now a lot of questions surrounding Motao. Was it an issue relating to external factors such as security, or is it an issue relating to the internal dynamics within the Commission itself? For as long as you leave it in the air, the nation continues to wonder, they start to speculate, and that's when you start to see all these conspiracy theories. So inadvertently, what it creates is this distraction which you're trying to run away from, which you could deal with but just by being transparent about what the issue is with the nation, as we are in public hearings, or partially in public hearings, and this process has been transparent thus far. It's quite strange to limit that transparency once you deal with the internal matters of the Commission. So we expect that at the very least today the Commission should be clarifying this issue so that the nation can focus on the very critical testimony of crime intelligence boss, that is Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo, who is going to paint a very clear picture that closes the gaps on this alleged cartel that has seemingly caused destruction in the criminal justice system.
Absolutely, and just before we move on to that, a vacuum, of course, leaves room for conjecture, which is the point that you're making. So we'll wait and see how today goes. But you're right, day 9 of this inquiry, day 2 of Dumisani's time on the hot or witness box, so to speak. Yesterday, he spoke about drug cartels infiltrating the political system in Gauteng and other parts of the country, and made mention of what police are now calling the Big Five.
Indeed. I remember when Kwanazi took the stand and people were questioning the veracity of the allegations or whether they could be corroborated, and it was clear that he was expecting further witnesses to come to, I guess, close the gaps on his evidence. We're now on the 5th witness that is doing such, and essentially what we're doing now is going into or zooming into this Big Five cartel, which really is, I think, the crux of this probe and triggered what is happening today at the Madlanga Commission, where there's a probe into allegations of criminality, political interference and corruption and the criminal justice system. Because you have this group, and we're seeing the organogram that it has members, alleged members in the form of Vusimuzi, Matlala and Katiso Molefe. Those are already figures that are facing very serious charges on their own. And Khumalo is going into quite depth to show us the intricate web that accompanies a cartel of this nature. What you may think is a normal business operation is something way more sinister. We're seeing a syndicate that is dealing with illicit drug trafficking, coupled with extortion, tender fraud, kidnapping, hijackings. I mean, all of the ills that you can think of that come with this high-level, sophisticated criminality, all under the guise of normal business operations. We expect that this morning he'll be continuing with the intricate WhatsApp messages extracted from the phone of Matlala, which he says will give you a very clear picture of what the nation is dealing with.
Wow, extraordinary recollections, shall we call it, at this stage. Canny Maphanga, thanks very much indeed. We will continue to be stationed for you here at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College as we continue with our build-up to now what is day 9 of this particular inquiry, as we take in the details around what might be happening in the criminal justice system.